And here we are, Trump Tower Live, to talk a bit about the speech on revitalizing inner cities, not just about what do you have to lose, but what do folks in the inner cities and all over this country have to gain from a Trump presidency? Safety, economy, prosperity. Here we are, Campbell Burr, Cliff Sims. We're here on Facebook. Cliff, give us a little bit of the social media breakdown here.
You know what time it is. We're watching on Facebook Live here. Make sure you hit that share button, get your friends involved. Tweet at us, what is it? Trump Live?
Trump Live. Hashtag Trump Live.
Hashtag on Twitter. We'll take a look at that, maybe answer some of your questions a little bit later on in the program. Let's get things started by talking about a big couple of days in the campaign, especially if you've been watching a couple of the polls. We've started to see some movement. Mr. Trump got the wind at his back going toward Election Day here. What do we see, Campbell, in a couple of polls, specifically in a couple of battlegrounds?
And just real quick, hashtag Trump Live. Tweet your questions out. It could be about polls. We'll explain how they work, and we'll go through it all. Campbell, to you.
Of course. Well, Cliff and Boris, exciting news. Bloomberg poll out today has Mr. Trump with a 2-point lead in Florida. And something that is significant about this is that he's up 7 with independents. And this is a group which Obama won in 2012. So, I think on the ground we're seeing a lot of excitement.
Absolutely.
And this is important for our viewers because voting is the way that, you actually can put Mr. Trump in office.
Right.
So remember to go to vote.gop. You can sign up for an absentee ballot and take the voting pledge.
These polls have moved all over the place, right? Campbell, Cliff, we've seen them moving all over the country, both nationally and in the battlegrounds. Nationally, we're up in the LA Times poll. We're effectively tied in the Rasmussen, tied in the IBD poll. That's a poll that's been accurate last few election cycles. So there's a lot of excitement out there. We are a movement. The Trump campaign is a movement. The Hillary Clinton campaign is a retread. So that's what we're seeing, the movement in Florida polling. In Ohio, we're up by about 4 points. You go across the country. You go to Nevada, North Carolina, Colorado, New Hampshire, Maine 2, the second congressional district of Maine. We're competitive in all these states, and that's so exciting with 13 days to go.
Yeah, as Campbell mentioned, being 7 points up with independents in Florida, that's a huge deal. I mean, this is going to be a state that over the last few election cycles has really kind of decided the presidency in a lot of ways. And for us to be up at this point in the campaign, and again, with that momentum, it really speaks volumes to what we got going. I think a lot of it has to do with early voting. You're seeing, historically, Democrats have done a good job in early voting.
Yes.
Republicans, here's a fact, Mitt Romney won on Election Day,
in North Carolina,
but Obama had more early votes. So we need to encourage folks to get out there right now, vote early.
That's a great stat. In North Carolina, in 2012, the Democrats, Obama was up by a couple 100,000 votes out of early voting, and then Mitt Romney won on Election Day. So we don't want that to happen. We don't want the Democrats to be able to vote early and often, maybe the Democrats, with their voter fraud. We want to bank those votes, as you said yesterday. So a lot of exciting stuff. Let's talk a little more about the get out the vote, some numbers you have out there.
Of course, well, you mentioned North Carolina, and Republicans in North Carolina actually continue to maintain a steadily growing lead in absentee ballots returned. Just in the past days, we have more than tripled our lead in absentee ballot returns over Democrat early voters.
And a big part, too, of winning this election, of course, is appealing to all Americans, but also to specific communities. So let's go back to the speech that we just saw in Charlotte.
Yeah,
what'd you think?
Just an incredible speech by Mr. Trump talking about urban revitalization. And he talked a lot about African-American communities. We're talking more broadly here about opportunity for all Americans. One of the messages that really, really sticks out to me from this speech today was the school choice message.
Yes.
I love the line, and Mr. Trump tweeted it out the other day, I believe. It was, every parent deserves a choice and every child deserves a chance. I mean, that is just the epitome of the American dream, is giving opportunity for educational opportunity, economic opportunity, no matter what zip code that you grew up in or you were born in. Right now, if you want to go to Hillary Clinton's plan, you're born in a certain zip code, you may not have an opportunity to get a quality education. Mr. Trump said today he is going to be the country's foremost advocate for school choice. And I don't think you can overemphasize not only the impact that that's going to have on kids' lives, but ultimately the economic impact that that's going to have on this country when we're better educating our kids, getting them career ready when they come out of school, whether it's in the trades or whether it's going to a 4-year university. I think this is a dynamite plan by Mr. Trump, and something that I don't think has gotten enough play in the election so far.
On the radio today, I think I had a battleground call into everything with Michigan, and the question was, what cities around this country are the worst off? And there's about 20, there's a ranking of 20. Well, if you look at those 20 cities, they're almost universally led by Democrats. Chicago is a good example, right, with Rahm Emanuel. Look at the city of Chicago. It is decimated by poverty, by crime. You know, more murders in Chicago this year so far than the war in Somalia in 2015. I mean, the numbers are staggering. They're unbelievable. And nobody can believe that Hillary Clinton can actually bring any change because she's been around for so long. How could she possibly say that she's an agent of change when she's already tried and she's already failed? I mean, Campbell, look at some of these numbers here that you've highlighted in terms of, you know, African American communities in this country that have been truly left behind.
Yeah, and I was going to say in Charlotte, where Mr. Trump, you know, is today and where he just gave this speech, in 2015, we saw violent crime increase by 18%, and it's expected to increase 24% in 2016. So these are staggering numbers. So Boris, tell us, what do you think Mr. Trump will do for the inner cities?
It's all about the economy, man, right? Revitalizing the economy of those cities is so vital because it gives people a light at the end of the tunnel and really allows folks to have a dream and have opportunities. And once they have opportunities, it builds more of a relationship between the government of those cities, so the police being a big part of that government, and the people themselves. And as far as the relation between the police and the folks in these inner cities, and we've seen some of these terrible shootings that we've had, but we've also seen the police be vilified, and that has to be fixed. Don't you think, Cliff?
I agree. You know, when we talk about what is Mr. Trump going to do for the inner cities, I think it's really the same thing he's going to do for the country as a whole, because whether you live in rural America or inner city America, all Americans really want the same handful of things when it gets right down to it. You want safe communities,
right.
Okay? Mr. Trump's the only law enforcement or a law and order candidate
right.
in the race. You want a thriving economy. You want jobs. Mr. Trump has laid out a plan where he's going to cut Americans' taxes. Hillary Clinton's going to raise your taxes. We talk about Obamacare that's just crushing American families, inner city, rural, you name it. Mr. Trump's the only one who's talking about repealing and replacing Obamacare with more free market opportunities there, buying insurance across state lines. Hillary Clinton's offering more of the same. We want to talk about infrastructure. Mr. Trump's talking about $1 trillion infusion of cash into infrastructure in this country in a way that's deficit neutral. I mean, we're talking about an incredible plan across all three of those areas right there that are not only going to impact our inner cities, but are going to impact across the country, no matter where you are.
That's really a great point. This country is in a very strange place in a way. The stock market's sky high, it's up. But that's because we've had these low interest rates. And not to get too inside baseball, but when you have low interest rates, there's money being pumped into the system. And because of that, the market's high. But that doesn't mean that people are living well. The GDP growth in this country is under 3%. People are not doing that great. And you're seeing that very much reflected in the inner cities, but you're right, also in the rural communities of this country, and those are the ones who are hurt the most. The real unemployment rate in this country is over 10%. That unemployment rate that Obama and his team push out there is absolutely fake. They say that if you have given up looking for a job, that means you're not unemployed anymore. No, it doesn't.
I think this might be a good time to bring in Peter Navarro.
Peter, come on in.
Come on in here, Peter.
We got Peter coming in.
Come on, slide in right here.
Quick guest.
Hey, as you may know,
Peter Navarro right here.
He is a senior advisor to our campaign. Welcome.
Here we are.
World-renowned economist.
Talking inner cities, it's really three words. It's jobs, jobs, jobs. Right? We've got 45% of African American children under the age of 6 living in poverty. We've got 58% of African American youth unemployed. That is absolutely staggering. And if you look at what Donald Trump is trying to do, there's really 2 points of the compass that really will help our inner cities. One is the issue of trade. The other is immigration.
Right.
Now, how does that work? Well, if you think about illegal immigration, the African American and Hispanic American communities have been the hardest hit. They are at the tip of the spear of illegal immigration because disproportionately the illegal immigrants are taking those jobs which Black Americans, Hispanic Americans would otherwise have. So this is an issue that really cuts to the core. But trade, I mean, we've been shipping our jobs in factories offshore for 15 years. One of the interesting things to me is that for 15 years we haven't seen any increase in our wages. 15 years in real terms. And that's because we trade, we ship our jobs offshore, we import trade deficits, and the inner cities have struggled with that. So if we get jobs back in the inner city, we'll begin to see things go. And remember, who's in control here? It's the Democrats generally rule
we talked about that.
in the inner cities, right? So And in presidential elections, they keep voting for the Democrat. Donald Trump's going to change that.
You know, in the LA Times poll, Donald Trump actually has about 20% rating from African Americans, so 20% support from African Americans. I suspect that when people actually go to the polls on November 8th and we tally up the win for Donald Trump, we'll get about 15-20%.
To give you, put that in perspective, Boris, in the last 4 elections, the African American vote has gone 95% or higher.
Right.
For the Democrat.
It's unbelievable.
Right? Now, it's like a handful of give me mouthful of much obliged. What do you get? It's like you vote and then 4 years later, nothing. 4 years more, nothing. Donald Trump is historically going to push that vote beyond anything we've seen in the last 40 years. I guarantee it.
Now, Peter, in secret to a foreign bank, Secretary Clinton pledged to enact open borders. If this were to happen,
she used the dream.
what would be the impact to our inner cities and to our African American middle class?
Well, we've seen what porous borders have given us with the illegal immigration. We got 11 million illegal immigrants here, and if you look at the statistics, the net gain in employment over time has all been taken by the illegal immigrants and the other immigrants. So, and black employment has just been stagnant. So, what does this mean? It's going to change in policy. Trump is going to change that world, and we're going to all be better off.
This is so great, and hashtag Trump Live. You know, we have these screens back here. This is our war room for those who are tuning in for the first time. It's our war room. We have so much fun. I'm looking at these screens, and CNN's on now. Here are the stories they're running with. Kazir Khan, which is a total, July and August call, wants its story back, and then somehow the Trump brand takes a hit from this race. I mean, it is disgusting. And I'm sorry, I might get a little heated here. It is disgusting what the mass media is doing right now. I mean,
go right to the people here.
And that's what we're doing. We're going right to the people, a direct message. And this, again, is such a perfect representation. We're here talking about issues, talking about saving the inner city, saving the rural communities, and revitalizing America's economy. They're talking about somebody being offended from July and Mr. Trump's brand taking a hit, yet he just opened probably the best new hotel in all of America. So completely crooked over there, completely real over here. We have Peter Navarro. Thanks for coming on. And we've got Sarah Huckabee Sanders.
Hi, Sarah. You want to go outside?
All right, here she is. Hi, Sarah.
I'll come here all the time if there's that kind of welcome. That's better than I get anywhere else.
Really? And what you're saying at NBC, they didn't do that?
No, it's so weird. I thought for sure I'd get like balloons and a big parade. Nothing.
Nothing?
I must have gotten there too late.
Halloween candy? Anything?
Nothing. I got nothing. I didn't even get offered cold coffee.
So this is sort of the life in the world of a Trump senior advisor, Trump surrogate. Tell us where you just came from.
I just came from taping for NBC Nightly News. We'll see if they use it or not.
What'd they ask you?
They asked me about women and Trump and where I thought we were going to go with that and if women would be supporting Trump and if so, why. And I talked about the things that as a female voter, as a working mom, things that keep me up at night are worrying about education, the economy, national security, border control. And when we talk about those issues, I think women hands down would be voting for Donald Trump because he's the only one with a plan and he's the only one focused on fixing those things. And Hillary Clinton has been in government for 30 years, has nothing to show for it. And the point I've made, not only for women, but on African Americans and many others, I think Donald Trump will do more in his first 30 days to help those groups than Hillary Clinton's done in the last 30 years.
So, Sarah, tell us, as a working mom, what would Mr. Trump do for you and for our other working moms out there who are watching right now?
Well, I think in large part, one of the biggest things is to allow you to relax a little bit so you're not so constantly stressed about whether or not your kids are going to be able to get a good education when they graduate from school. Are they going to be able to find a job? He would create jobs, grow our economy, and I think really help turn our country around. But also, I think one of the big things that we absolutely have to do is come in, shake Washington up. It's been a complete disaster. We're tired of business as usual. Look, women want the same things men do. I think it's really sad that we always try to break us out into subgroups.
Right.
We're not like awkward human beings. We want the same things. We want a good economy. We want strong national security. When we focus on those things, everybody wins. And certainly, I think Donald Trump would be the only person to come in and be able to do that.
Well, I can just say from at my household, my wife's the one who kind of makes decisions on like big ticket items.
You're a smart guy then.
Let her handle all that. And one of
Happy
those
wife, happy
In
life.
my
You're onto
household,
something.
believe it or not, even in my household.
it's the smart way.
That's
smart
the way
way
it
to
goes.
go.
You gotta be
That's
smart.
why he bosses all the of us around here, is so that when he's at home.
'Cause he can't do it at home?
Yeah,
All right,
exactly.
first of all,
Now, hold on.
I'm going to disagree with that premise. I'll agree a little bit. My mom's watching. She'll agree I'm a little bossy, so fine, we'll go with it.
Well, one of those big ticket items, which used to not be a big ticket item but now because of Obamacare
Right.
it is. Health insurance,
Absolutely.
and my wife gets on there and she has health insurance through her job. I'm self-employed, and so we kind of try to figure out, we going into the exchanges or we're going to the private marketplace. What are we going to do here? Am I going to get it through your job? Obamacare. We found out yesterday we're looking at about 25% rate hike across the country. In Arizona, it's 116%.
116%.
Okay, in North Carolina, it's 40%, and in Iowa, it's 28%. So some of these battleground states, it's going to be a
Pennsylvania,
huge issue.
53%.
It's unbelievable. As somebody who makes these type of decisions for your family, how do you think it's impacting women around the country?
It's
as
a
they think
huge
about that?
decision. I have 3 kids, and my insurance last year versus this year has doubled. And I mean, that's a huge impact. Not only is my insurance higher, but childcare costs are higher. Donald Trump actually has a plan to cut that. I spend more every month in childcare costs than I do on my mortgage. And that's ridiculous. That's not how it should be. I shouldn't be penalized for being a working mom. Donald Trump is the only person, and frankly, one of the first Republicans to really come out and aggressively talk about empowering women. I think that's one of the reasons that on November 8th, when women step into the ballot box, they should be voting for Donald Trump.
Well, I think that's another, and I want to get you in here on this too, Campbell. But this is another example of a constituency group that I feel like Hillary Clinton and the Democrats are taking for granted
Oh,
again.
yeah, big
We've
time.
got African Americans for one. Mr. Trump comes out with a plan that blows everything out of the water
Right.
that she's even said she's not even really paying attention.
Right.
With women, they just assume they're going to check the box, so is it going to lean my direction or for whatever reason. And you've gone down point by point here. Mr. Trump's the only one in the race that's got a plan on these things that's actually really speaking to those needs.
And he's actually created a job. Hillary Clinton, the only job she's ever created are with the FBI, maybe. And even that might be a stretch. But I think that's a real problem, is you want somebody who's actually signed the front of a paycheck, knows what it is to create job and grow the economy. And Hillary Clinton's never done that in her life.
Yeah.
And what I think is so interesting too is the Media Research Center found that 91% of coverage of Mr. Trump on 3 broadcast nightly newscasts over the past 12 weeks has been hostile.
I like the fact they use the word hostile too.
Hostile,
Not
yeah.
negative. It's
Hostile.
like it's outright hostile.
Just angry.
Just angry. And listen, that's another representation. I just saw it again on CNN. Trump owns a new hotel amid signs. His brand is hurting. They're just making stuff up now.
But what I think is interesting, though, is here we hear, we're hearing from a real voter, and what I'm curious about is, of your other female friends, what are they saying about Mr. Trump and his plans? What are other concerns that are important to them, and how do they think that Mr. Trump will address those concerns?
Look, I mean, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I think the biggest things are the economy. I think Peter said it earlier. It's jobs, jobs, jobs. That's the biggest, I think, impact, whether or not you're a woman, Hispanic voters, African American voters. Everybody wants something better. And we have certainly not gotten that under the Obama and Clinton administrations. And people are looking to break out of their boxes. They need somebody that can, again, come in and make actual change, shake things up. And you can't do that from the inside. There's no bigger insider than Hillary Clinton in this race. She may be the most corrupt insider that we've ever seen run for modern office. You've got to have somebody from outside the system that can come in and change it. And I think that's why people like Donald Trump.
Something I've always wanted to talk to you and your dad about on air is, your dad's
Let's get the governor on the phone.
Your dad's governor of Arkansas.
Do I get to
You're
phone a
obviously from
friend here?
Arkansas. Just what is the view of the Clintons in Arkansas?
Well, I think it's pretty obvious that there was a poll actually that just came out a few days ago, and Donald Trump is beating Hillary Clinton by almost 30 points. I think that tells you everything you need to know. By the people that know them best, he's winning by some of the biggest margins in the country.
Are you taking credit for that one?
Of course
Is that-
I am,
you've been-
absolutely.
And
I don't know what you guys are doing in your states, but in my state, we're absolutely dominating.
And tell the folks, what percentage of the African American vote did your dad get in Arkansas?
49% of the African American
I mean,
vote in Arkansas.
that's really unbelievable. So, it's so interesting to be talking about this country and the way the Republicans actually have been successful getting the African American vote and reaching all voters out there. So
got
we're
about
gonna
10 seconds here,
10
Boris.
seconds. Sarah, parting shot. What do you got? What do you think?
I think the closing shot is if you want to change America, then you should go out and vote for Donald Trump.
Boom.
That's all we need to know. Hashtag Trump Live.
And we want to remind everyone to go to vote.gop, where you can sign up to receive an absentee ballot and also take the voting pledge.
All right. We'll see you in a couple seconds. All right.
It takes a builder
All right.
to rebuild the American dream, and Donald Trump has the blueprint. Tax relief for working people, a 30% tax cut. Peace of mind for working families, an average $5,000 childcare tax reduction and paid maternity leave. Lower healthcare costs, expanding competition by allowing people to purchase coverage across state lines. This is the blueprint. This is the builder. Donald Trump.
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message.
Monday. Yesterday, I think we did it later in the day. Today, we're earlier. And we're just having so much fun with this. And it all is based on the enthusiasm of Mr. Trump out there.
And I want to remind everyone, too, that, Mr. Trump has a rally tonight in Kinston, North Carolina, which you can watch on Facebook as well. We'll be broadcasting it live. So, this is another opportunity to see Mr. Trump speak.
So we've been having you go to #TrumpLive, but also we had another fun hashtag going today. A little well-known fact that Cliff here is going to tell us about.
Yeah, today was Hillary Clinton's birthday.
Oh, man.
And
get the candles.
Come on, we couldn't allow the secretary to go a day without getting her something, and so we kind of pinged our Twitter audience and said, well, what would you get Hillary Clinton for her birthday?
Let's
and we
see.
started a hashtag that was Hillary birthday gifts.
I mean, it makes perfect sense to me. I think, first of all, how do you think she spent her birthday? What do you think she did today?
I'd imagine there's probably a lot of rest involved.
A lot of naps, because you got to revitalize, got to rest up, got to relax. Let's see what she got. What do you think? What did she get for birthday?
Here was one from the Hillary birthday gifts hashtag. It says, first of all, you have to know how Hillary Clinton signs her tweets, like the ones that she puts up. Supposedly, at least, she puts -H.
Right.
So somebody here put, no gifts, please, just send cash.
Nice.
Okay, so
I like that.
We had that one. Let me scroll down.
Here, I
here.
got a good one here from somebody who may or may not be right behind us. Andrew Sarabian can come in hot with a brand new pantsuit. Orange is the new black. I love that.
We had another one here from Kalen Dorr. He said, for anyone thinking about getting Hillary debate questions, Donna Brazil already beat you to the punch.
Well done.
That was a pretty
Campbell,
good one.
give us a good one here,
Yeah,
Campbell.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but I think I'd be getting Secretary Clinton a new BlackBerry since you have seemed to
The last 13 have gotten...
I've got one right here.
Or maybe a hammer.
Yeah, a
hammer to take care of.
We'll send it her way.
So another Twitter, this is Bianca Costello said, sorry Hillary, I forgot your birthday, but at this point, what difference does it make? I was like, oh, that was pretty tough.
That was a little,
Then she said, here's another one, Hillary birthday gifts, WikiLeaks, because it's the gift that keeps on giving. We had that one. Let's see here.
Oh man, there's some hot ones on here that I'm not going to read.
There are some hot takes.
There's some hot takes I'm not going to. Well, anyway, so people are having fun on Twitter, and it's so great to be engaged. But it all obviously, listen, we're having fun here. We're having a good time here in the world. But it's serious business. We're electing the next president of the United States of America, and there's nothing as exciting as a presidential campaign. This is my third. I'm 0-2 so far. But I will be thankfully 1-2 come November 8th and November 9th. So, we've got 13 days to go. I know we talk about this every day with our guests as well. What is some of the things you guys are most excited for and looking forward to seeing and hearing over the next 13 days?
I can say one of the things that I'm most excited about, and we mentioned this earlier today, is just the early vote numbers.
Yes.
That normally we get outpaced in the early voting. I mean, it's just look at the historical data we do. But if you look at some of the swing states right now, Republicans are getting out in full force.
Sure.
And I think that's because if you look at any polling across the board, the voter intensity number, which is basically not just I'm going to go check the box for somebody, but how excited am I about doing that? Mr. Trump is just blowing that out of the water right now, and I think that's one of the reasons why you're seeing so many Republicans go to the polls earlier where historically they don't. Go to vote.gop if you want to find out more information about when and where you can do that in your home state.
And I think also in Wisconsin, something that's significant is that in 3 of the top Republican counties, we're seeing voter turnout up compared to this day in 2012. So, for example, Washington County absentee requests are up 25%. We're seeing that also in Ozaukee County and in Waukesha. So
it's really going great out there, and the RNC has done a great job together, of course, with the Trump campaign with this Get Out the Vote effort. It's so exciting. With 13 days, all you want to look for is enthusiasm on behalf of the voters, because in the end, as long as the GOP is together and comes out, we win this election. Look at the states today. Minnesota is in play. Why is it in play? Because of Obamacare. Michigan is another state that's in play. All these states that the mass media would have you believe are completely out of reach. All they want to talk about is how supposedly Arizona is in Democrats, which it's not, because the polling there has been skewed toward the Democrats. But really, it's a revolutionary election. Michigan has not gone for a Republican since 1988. Pennsylvania the same way. And I'm confident that we'll get either one of or both of those states.
Well, and this is all because of Mr. Trump's message. I mean, you're really seeing, I think, a reshaping of the electorate around the country. And we're talking about, just traditional Republicans, traditional Democrats. You're seeing a lot of those Reagan Democrats come home to the Republican Party because of what Mr. Trump has to say, specifically on trade. When you think about what NAFTA did to this country, and 1 in 3 manufacturing jobs gone. Bill Clinton passed it. Hillary Clinton supported it. We talk about TPP, which she supports now, which I like to call NAFTA on steroids. I mean, all these blue-collar workers, people, the working man around this country, look at Donald Trump and say, this is somebody who speaks for me. I've been out of the political process, and we talked yesterday about all these new voters, low propensity voters, people that have not voted in the last several election cycles, finally say, you know what, I'm going to take the time and go get registered. I'm going to take the time and go vote because that guy speaks for me, and they haven't had that opportunity in decades.
So, listen, it's about 6 o'clock. Couple of quick things I'm seeing here on Twitter that's a lot of fun. Hashtag Trump Live. One thing is, I bet Hillary forgot it was her birthday today 39 times. That's referencing how many times she said I forgot. I don't
Thank
remember.
you, Julia.
That's great by Julia. And then if you go to Hillary birthday gifts, I think it's a pretty good way to wrap it up. What do they wish for her? One word: justice from Prankstar. One word for Hillary Clinton, that's justice. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you so much. And a reminder, if you would like to see Mr. Trump on the road, he will be making 3 stops in Ohio tomorrow, and will be holding rallies in New Hampshire and Maine on Friday. Go to our website, donaldjtrump.com, and click on schedule, and there you can see all of our rallies and register to attend events.
And tonight at 7 o'clock in Kingston.
Yeah.
Kinston. I got family up there.
All right, I'm a Yankee. I'm from this is why we're such a good team here, right? We've got the whole country represented. We've got the war room behind us representing the whole country. We're having so much fun. So tonight in what town?
Kinston, North Carolina.
7 o'clock. Tune in right here, and you'll be seeing our faces throughout the next couple of days as well. And we'll keep on having fun and delivering the message directly to you, the voters. Thank you so much, and have a great night.
Good night for Trump's
Thank you.
All right.